Greg's my board. Do it, Charles here, HomeStudioBasics.com, helping you make sound decisions. So, today's NUBWO HD01 review will cover build quality, comfort, sound, amplification needs, genre pairing, a comparison to a familiar favorite, and more. By the time you're finished watching this video, you'll know if it's worth a purchase. If it isn't, I'll point you in the direction of something that it is. NUBWO, otherwise known as NUBWO Tech, started in 2010 as a full-spectrum audio innovator per their website. Advancing gaming immersion, they purportedly fuse cutting-edge acoustic R&D with player feedback, having evolved from precision headsets to seamless ecosystems where light, sound, and control synchronize. Believing that true immersion dies when gear works against you, their ultimate goal is to engineer headsets that capture every nuance in the environment, enemy whispers, explosions, etc., while completely immersing you in the action. Does the HD01 fit that criteria? Interestingly enough, it sits in a separate demographic and, as of this video, is the only headphone on their website meant for studio work. A closed-backed headphone that resembles Sony's MDR7506, the HD01 contains 45mm angled drivers, 90-degree swivel ear cups for single ear monitoring, audio sharing, and a 3.5mm/6.35mm support for studio, DJ, guitar, and PC use. The HD01, while a blatant knockoff of the 7506, is built well and remains just as functional, if not more. One big difference is that the HD01's cups can rotate 90 degrees inward, as mentioned above, while the 7506s cannot. However, the 7506 can fold up for easy on-the-go transport, while the HD01 cannot. So it's a bit of a wash. Both, however, come with a nice carrying bag. Both also have metal adjustments that are made of mostly plastic otherwise, but the HD01s have larger, deeper, albeit similarly shaped ear cups. And while both have protein leather padding, the HD01s seems to be built better for long-term use. I will update the article linked below as I get more time with them. Sony's cups have been known to break down, flake, and peel over time, and I have personally experienced it firsthand. Another thing I wish Sony would modify for current times is a non-detachable cable. It's coiled, can't come out, and proves fairly irritating over extended studio sessions. Fortunately, the HD01 comes with two detachable cables, removable ear cups, and is much more convenient to use. Design-wise, it mimics the 7506 in almost every way, from the bail structure, folding mechanism down, to the overall shape of the cups, to the red R and blue L indicators, right down to the word professional on the cup itself. The HD01 has more headband padding, and while we're dancing around the subject, let's dive into comfort. In short, it's phenomenal and much better than a 7506. This is due to a couple of things. The headband. There's more padding, and it doesn't dig into the top of your skull. The ear pads. They're softer, larger, and deeper, giving you more room inside for your precious auricles. But if you have ears the size of Dumbo, you're shit out of luck, buddy. The HD01 also feels a bit lighter overall, but the main draw for me is the spaciousness of the cups. I've always considered the 7506 to be a sort of on-ear / around-ear hybrid, as it isn't quite one or the other. This can make it awkward to wear over longer periods because the pads heat up fairly quickly and tend to dig, so you'll be making minor adjustments over the duration of your session. Overall, the HD01's comfort factor is excellent and I have no complaints. Sound. Sources include FLAC, lossless, headphones compared, of course, is the 7506, and DAC amps used include the FiOK7. To be perfectly honest, the sound of the HD01, to my ears, is pretty similar to that of the 7506. Both opt for some bass emphasis in the all-important 60 to 90 Hz region, both opt for a mud cut around 200 to 300 Hz, and both are incredibly resolving with forward, clear mids and a present, brighter treble. One thing that stands out about the HD01 is that it feels more immediate, present, and forward overall. The sound of the 7506 seems distant by contrast, as if everything is pushed back a bit, even down some, which is a bit strange. Don't get me wrong, vocals and instruments still sound clear, but it's as if you're sitting a few rows back, whereas the HD01 is more of a front and center affair. Both have splendid resolution, but I think the HD01 wins out here. Ollies, don't know if that's how you pronounce it, whatever. I Know, link below, is a beat I've heard probably hundreds of times. It sounds incredibly revealing to the point where 100% of what went into the beat is audible. What I mean by this is that the decay and release of instruments is completely exposed, in addition to the vocal samples coming through with ultra clear articulation and separation. Every transient feels intact. The tails don't blur together and nothing is masked. It's the kind of mix where micro details are laid bare, the faint texture in the sample, the subtle swing in the drums, the way the delay throws on the vocals are panned and tucked just wide enough to create space without clutter. You can hear the air around each element. The stereo image feels deliberate and sculpted rather than accidental. The beat feels transparent, almost forensic in how it presents information, nuanced, dimensional, and precise, where even the smallest movements of the sample and spatial placement are fully perceptible. I wasn't expecting this out of the HD01, but here we are. Monma's snaps. You can clearly hear some sort of breathing / pulsating sound in the beginning that stands out a lot more than I previously remembered. On Surrender from Navy Blue and Chuck Stranger's, vocals from both are clear and much easier to distinguish. This adds a level of immersion I simply wasn't expecting out of a brand I've literally never heard before. Is this due to their angled drivers? Yes, I'm fairly certain it has a lot to do with the overall fidelity of the sound. HiFiMAN also utilizes angled drivers in many of their offerings, and the sound absolutely benefits from it. In my experience, it helps to create space, improves resolution, and generally provides a more immersive, realistic sounding profile. These are all things that the HD01 does very well. For that reason, plus everything else we discussed, the HD01 becomes a clear favorite and a headphone more than worthy of the studio monitor moniker. Its exemplary resolution and superb comfort levels make it an easy choice for extended sessions, and a non-fatiguing sound means your ears won't get tired easily, musically speaking. Just make sure to mix at lower levels to save your auricles. Because of its fairly neutral, clear, predictable sound, it also happens to work very well for a variety of genres, including hip-hop, rap, ambient, rock, pop, indie, EDM, and pretty much whatever you listen to. One minor nitpick I have is that there's a papery, thin quality to the sound, lacking the lushness found in more expensive models. To be clear, for its measly asking price of around 60 doll hairs, this is to be expected on some level, and it's not noticeable enough to cancel the recommendation. But to a trained ear, it's there, and it should be noted regardless. This somewhat inconsequential flaw reminds me of the same one present in Status Audio's CB1, a headphone that suffers from a similar sonic blemish. Still, at 50 ohm impedance and 92 decibel sensitivity, it's fairly inefficient, but still not very hard to drive. Right now I'm using a FiO K7 with the volume below halfway on high gain. In short, you'll be fine with a vast array of different setups, and I wouldn't spend much more than $100 if you do decide on separate amplification. Since you'll be mixing with them, any good quality audio interface like the Volt 2 for instance will be completely fine. Final verdict. NUBWO's HD01 is a well-crafted, comfortable headphone with exemplary resolution and excellent overall tuning. And for $60, easy purchase. In my opinion, it runs circles around the 7506 and happens to be $40 cheaper. And that's it. But always remember to keep it dummy thick. Aight?